Honesty, love of fellow man, and having fun on a day-to-day basis.
He was a great man, too great for me to value.
He was absolutely fabulous with customers.
His family always came first, his company second, and his golf third. Fred had this ability, if he were losing, to make a comment about what an outstanding grip you had with the golf club, at which point you'd probably yank it out of bounds.
Fred indeed was a prankster, and when he told me one time as I came up when he was passing out a Christmas gift, and he said, "Oh, I'm surprised. I thought I fired you a long time ago."
Many times we were in the lab deciding what to do with the product, and you'd be surprised how many times his ideas weren't that bad.
He always would say, "You're going to work hard, but you're going to have fun."
He cared about his employees and about his business, and he always would like to shake hands with them and tell them they're doing a good job.
It didn't matter whether they were a distributor, vice president of a bank, he treated people out in the shop the same way. Knew all of their names, knew everybody's name, and in most cases, knew a lot of their wives and their kids' names. And he prided himself on that. Actually, Mr. Lennon was my customer. I worked for the railroad, and I met him in 1952. I used to sell him his tickets, and one day he came in to pick up tickets or arrange for the tickets to New York, and he said he'd be back tomorrow. I told him I'd have them all ready for him, but I wouldn't be there because I just got laid off. And he said, "Well, you can start with me tomorrow morning," and that I did.
I was hitchhiking back from going to St. Ignatius High School, and Fred Lennon came along and offered me a ride. And in the course of the conversation, he asked me if I would like to work part-time for him. He had just started a new company, and he was looking for some help. So that's where I began.
May 28th, 1956, and I met him down at 140th, where we started out at. And he made a point of knowing his employees when they were hired, and he made you feel at home.
He used to give the pins and stuff for your anniversaries and stuff to you personally, and that was one of my highlights as far as what I remember about him.
In 1967, I remember, I moved to New York City and worked as a representative and liaison of the company. And at that time, I met Fred Lennon at the booth of Swagelok company.
And then he'd tell me what he was thinking about with our one product or our products, and what we can maybe do better. And we would both go out in the lab, and we would check what we presently have, and then work on projects that would better that project, because he wanted to always be better than what it was.
I was 22 years old when I went to Cleveland with Joe Callahan to meet Mr. Lennon. That was at 884 East 140th Street, and it was also probably the luckiest day of my life.
Perfection he had with his products, but also perfection he had in treating his people. And that was his pride, his product and his people.
He was a kind of man that you could admire, because he was a man that not only talked the talk, but he walked the walk. And he extended himself to everybody.
There's a lot of pride in knowing Mr. Lennon. I don't think that very many people have an opportunity in their life or their work career to meet someone like him, who as an entrepreneur was extremely successful, and as a philanthropist is extremely successful, and as an individual is extremely successful.
Almost every morning without fail, he would walk around the office and out into the shop and shake the hand of associates and speak with them by name.
He took care of the small little details, and he knew how to make people happy. You know, just saying good morning to somebody.
Mr. Lennon surrounded himself with wonderful people who followed his business philosophy of quality and service.
Fred's business philosophy was pretty simple, really. He wanted to do everything right, and then when I got right, he wanted to do it better. And that was the way he operated.
He treated the product like it was a gem, and when he was confronting customers, he quite often would pull out of his pocket a very small fitting encased in a very nice, beautiful case, and would show it to him like it was a jewel.
I would say that the one thing that has always impressed me about Fred, and still impresses me in my memory of him, is he never deviated from day one as to what he felt was the right thing to do.
He always was a great guy. There's no doubt that he brought his values to employees. You know, you're only as good as your leader.
His business philosophy was one that he always wanted to treat people as he would be treated in business relationships, and to be very honest and have a very high ethical standards of doing business.
He was a truly reliable person and a typical American gentleman. And he seemed to devote himself to his business.
I feel very fortunate that I had an opportunity to know a man like Fred Lennon, work for a man or with a man like Fred Lennon. And as I say, I don't think very many people ever get that opportunity.
A patriarchal respect and admiration, and wanting to be able to admire him so much that to be able to walk in his footsteps.
He very often told me, he said, Rolf, we are in the people business. We're not in the product business. We're in the people business. You have to care about your people because these people have to produce and sell the product to your customer. And this is what makes you healthy.
Because you weren't just another number in the company. You were special when he talked to you.
I can't say enough to say what a wonderful guy he was. And I can say this, I don't know of anybody that even comes close to being like him.
Other than my own father, I probably respect him more than any one man I've ever met in my life.
Fred was extremely generous. He had one rule. He did not want to publicize his generosity.
I think what is most memorable about Mr. Lennon was the opportunity he gave to so many people throughout the world.
As far as his philanthropic emphasis on hospitals and other institutions and educational institutions, he was just an extremely generous person in giving back to the community as well as to individuals.
He was a generous man with a gentle and warm heart.
I think he truly had the attitude is that I've been blessed with a lot and it's up to me to share it.
If somebody was in dire needs of something, he wouldn't say anything, he wouldn't want them to say anything, but he helped them out.
He would open up doors to doctors that otherwise would have been closed and made things happen so quickly for those people that had medical problems.
The opportunities that he gave to people are probably the most memorable thing.
Here's a man that gave an awful lot to charity, did a lot of things for children in children's hospitals, and there was no big to-do about it. He just did it.
I asked Mr. Lennon if he had ever thought the company would grow as large as it did. He didn't grow the company. It was grown by the people around him. He just went along for the ride. That it was the quality of the people and the people around him caring for what they did and believing in what they did made the company what it was, what it is.
A legacy that he left and instilled in the people is the pride in doing a good job.
As he instituted a lot of programs within the organization to help people grow and mature in whatever profession they wanted to.
That his legacy is being carried on today by other people. That's a great tribute to the man.
Mr. Lennon left us with a legacy of being the best supplier of the highest quality fluid system components worldwide.
The legacy he left was quality of the people that worked with him and quality of the product that was being produced.
I said I spent 48 years with him, and I'm sure like even Norge would probably say the same thing on a different level, but there's no one like him, no one.
First-class products, first-class service, and first-class people.
He led by example in so many ways. He was not going to ask his people to do something he wouldn't do.
I think his legacy is that he has created an organization that is second to none. I think he has the best product in the world. He knew it. He wasn't afraid to say it. And I think the legacy he left for the company was that he left them, the future generations, their company in a reputation that it's the best.
The most valuable legacy, I think, is his wisdom. Like the price of quality is eternal vigilance.
Morning, Mr. Smith. My name is Lennon. I'm with the Crawford Fitting Company.
Good morning,
I know you're awfully busy, and I don't want to take up much of your time.
He was the best salesman I ever met. If you ever saw him give a Mr. Smith demo, he could romance a brass fitting like it was a precious metal.
He was absolutely fabulous with customers. He could get them beat right out of his hand.
His plants were immaculate. He insisted on it.
Oh, he's a great man. There'll never be another one like him. Believe me, there won't be. That mold is gone.
I think Fred influenced everybody he met and touched in different ways, but they were all good ways.
I guess what I'm saying is we loved him and we respected him.
He was like a father or a second father, or for some, I'm sure, the only father that they've had. And unfortunately, he's gone, but his legacy will live on.